This paper explores Pope Francis' bioethical perspective as articulated in his apostolic exhortation Amoris Laetitia. Throughout his papacy, Pope Francis has not extensively addressed the Church's teaching on bioethics. Instead, he has reaffirmed traditional Church teaching while expressing personal concern about various bioethical issues affecting humanity. Here I am just to highlight his bioethical concern. I am not going to deal elaborately his teaching on bioethics. In his apostolic exhortation Amoris Laetitia, Pope Francis extends his exegesis of human dignity from often discussed beginning and end of life issue to the integral well-being of the family. So I begin this paper with the topic human dignity and sanctity of life. Human dignity is the basic underlying principle in bioethics. Pope Francis reiterated the teaching of Vatican II and says that human being is created in the image of God. He says that everybody holds the proper and inalienable dignity, sacredness of human life. Human being has his sacredness from the beginning to the end. Each human being must therefore be viewed with reverence and treated with due respect and care. In addition, Amoris Laetitia meticulously establishes that we should welcome and care for the frailty of human life and protect value of all human life. Contraception, sterilization, and abortion against the dignity of human life. Human being is to be respected and treated as a person from the moment of conception. Pope Francis in this regard says, let us also think of the great value of that embryo from the moment of conception. From this context, the value of unborn life, Pope Francis, contraception, sterilization, abortion are against the dignity of person. Abortion and human life. On account of the intangible value of human life, the Church magisteriums have always spoken out against abortion. Pope Francis, in his first apostolic exhortation, Evangelii Gaudium, states a new dimension of Church teaching on abortion, that the position of the Church against abortion is part of the fight for human rights. In his apostolic exhortation, Amoris Laetitia, speaking on the present problem of transmission of new life and role of family, Pope Francis finds strong word to denounce abortion. So great is the value of human life, and so inalienable the right of life of an innocent child born in a mother's womb, that no alleged right to one's body can justify a decision to terminate that life, which is an end in itself and which can never be considered the property of another human being. In his apostolic letter, Misericordia et Misera, at the conclusion of the extraordinary year of mercy, though Pope Francis gives all the praise, the faculty to absolve from the excommunication of those who have committed a sin of procured abortion, but he restates firmly that abortion is a grave sin. From the above teaching of Pope Francis on abortion, it is clear that the Church has traditionally and consistently condemned direct abortion as morally wrong and unacceptable. Contraception and sterilization. Francis affirms the dignity of each human being, human life, and explains how it is incompatible with contemporary methods of family planning and human reproductive technologies. condemning the evil practices of contraception, sterilization, abortion, and family planning, and the intervention of government on these issues. Pope Francis says the Church strongly rejects the forced state intervention in favor of contraception, sterilization, and abortion. Responsible parenthood and natural family planning. In line with other documents of Church, Amoris Laetitia discusses about responsible parenthood. Decision regarding responsible parenthood requires formation of a mature conscience. In addition, he observes couples have to use their indirect liberty wisely and responsibly, taking into account social and demographic realities as well as their own situation and legitimate desires. Francis also devotes various paragraphs in Amoris Laetitia to natural method of family planning, placing them in a broader context of love that gives life and welcomes each child as a gift from God. Morality of artificial reproductive technologies. Technical intervention like in vitro fertilization changes the meaning of act of creation of a person. That is why Pope Francis asserts the technological revolution in the field of human procreation has introduced the ability to manipulate reproductive act, making it independent of the sexual relation between man and woman. Let us not fall into the sin of trying to replace the Creator. We are creatures, not omnipotent. Creation is prior to us and must be received as a gift. Morality of surrogate motherhood. Pope Francis is having the serious concern for women who are used as surrogate mothers and their bodies are exploited and commercialized. On this point, Pope Francis would have a singular priority. In this regard, I deem deplorable the practice of so-called surrogate motherhood, which represents a great violation of the dignity of women and the child. The Church takes a stand the practice of surrogacy where the dignity of the child and mother is immensely violated. Adoption. Adoption indeed is a charitable act. Pope Francis encourages adoption of a child as a means of preventing abortion and abandonment of child. Thus, Church also encourages infertile couples to go for adoption instead of having success to immoral artificial reproductive technologies. Euthanasia and assisted suicide and care for the elderly. Pope Francis emphasizes that family protects human life in all its stages, including last. Francis also quotes the Synod Fathers. Euthanasia and assisted suicide are a serious threat to families worldwide. Francis broaches the topics of euthanasia and assisted suicide, reiterating the need to provide special attention and care to the elderly. Pope Francis is very serious with regard to the society who abandons the elderly and considers that such a society contains a deadly virus. Christian care ethics. Pope Francis devotes certain paragraphs in Amoris Laetitia about access to care ethics in Christian life. He also delivers pastoral message about people with disability and special needs. By citing many examples, Pope Francis conveys the message that extending care to the disabled is indeed the duty of family members and others. And regarding the care of the disabled person and person with special need, Francis says, people with disability are a gift for the family and an opportunity to grow in love, mutual aid, and unity. Same-sex marriage. Pope Francis strongly asserts that same-sex attraction cannot be equated with marriage, while acknowledging that persons with same-sex attraction to be treated with respect and human dignity. Pope Francis clarifies his position by repeating the Synod Fathers' observation that there are absolutely no ground for considering homosexual union to be in any way similar or even remotely analogous of God's plan of marriage and family. Conclusion. Indeed, the present Pope Francis upholds the Church's traditional teaching on bioethics. Apostolic exhortation, Amoris, Laetitia, serves as an essential source for understanding Pope Francis' perspective and concern on contemporary bioethical issues and challenges of this world. Thank you very much.